Well, okay. Well, we're live again from Hollywood, California, from a secret, undisclosed bunker high upon a hill, but below a mountain, kind of near the Griffith Observatory, of which is in back of me, and I can show you that out the window if you want to look at the observatory or the Greek Theater. We're very close to Burbank, which is near NBC. And I'm surrounded by homeless people. As you know, I can't even walk out the door. That being said, we're going to do a little bit here about biltong. And most of you know what biltong is at this point, Biltong USA. I'm addicted to it. I'm going to rehab next week to get off of biltong. They told me they're going to wean me off of it with pieces incrementally smaller of subbiltong, which is the suboxone of biltong. And I hope this works. It's been a long run. I've obviously committed many crimes on biltong. You can use that secret code right there, Mark G, to get 10% off on your biltong, which is hard to get in Scotland. It's hard to get in Australia. No, maybe in Australia. South Africa is probably the capital of biltong. This guy, Anton, who lives in Texas, who is South African, has escaped the oppression of reverse apartheid and brought his 5 kids to, I believe it's Prairie, Texas. Don't quote me on it. Texas is very big, and there's not many Jews there, so I try to stay out of it. Nevertheless, he has his company there, which is Biltong USA, and him and his wife and his 5 kids, despite child labor laws, are working around the clock to create these bags of biltong that you see on the right-hand corner of that picture. This is an empty one that I've already eaten. It's quite addictive. You can heat it up, or you can eat it cold right out of the bag as you watch movies or sit around naked in your underwear. It doesn't really matter. Biltong will not judge you for anything that you do. It's just a product for you to consume. It's kind of the gourmet beef jerky of South Africa that's now sweeping the United States by storm. I would get on that right away because it's kind of like having like sirloin steak in very thin slices. Especially what I do is I put it in the microwave for like 10 or 15 seconds, and then it's just warm and juicy and absolutely delicious. On his website, there's other stuff which I have not gotten yet. He hasn't sent me this yet, but there's cookies on there. There's other things. I don't know. I haven't tried those yet, but look at the website, biltongusa.com. Order every single thing on there, and you'll be a happy camper. Now, here's the history of biltong. I just want to tell you this because this stuff is unbelievable. Let me see if I can find. Okay, here's the history of biltong. For centuries before settlers arrived at the shores of southern Africa, there are 2 groups of people that inhabited the land, as many of you know. These groups were the San and the Kokhai, commonly referred to as the Khoisians. The Khoisians were a group of skilled hunter-gatherers. They were also nomadic farmers that lived at one with nature, not 2. They always lived as one. This skill and knowledge allowed them to live off the land. Part of their vast knowledge was the preservation of meat. That's where the biltong thing comes in. The name biltong was given by Dutch settlers. Bill, a guy named Bill, means meat, and tong means strip. So the word biltong, in case you think it's confusing, merely means a strip of meat. But man, is that good meat. It is like I said, the closest thing for Americans would be to compare it to gourmet beef jerky. It's cured form of meat in biltong, and it played an important role in travel. It was long-lasting, provided essential protein in the daily diet. Through the years, biltong has become an integral part of South African culture, and now over here. They have it in vending machines over here. Here we have hypodermic syringes in vending machines and cigarettes. But there, they have biltong, and it's apparently extremely healthy because it's like 100 million % protein, and we are a carb-based culture that is so fat and so diabetic because we eat so many carbs that we really, really need to get into more protein. He started a company called Anton's African Cuisine, and then switched it to Anton's Meat and Eat, and started supplying breads and baked goods, varying flavors of meat pies, farmer's sausage, I don't know what that means, but ready to heat and eat meats. That's a good buzz phrase. Very soon, biltong became the center point of the business as Anton, that's the man, seems to have perfected the taste and texture of his biltong. This increase in demand and with online sales growing required an expansion in production and supply. Land of Biltong was born in 2021. 2024, he acquired Biltong USA, and www.biltongusa.com is where you're going to find this insane website of foods and desserts and everything else from the king of biltong himself, who was Anton, who, as I said, has escaped South African oppression and now lives in Texas with his entire family in indentured servitude, making biltong for you so you can eat the meat. Now, we're going to have a guest on today. This guy is an old friend. He is originally, I think, from Scotland. So trigger warning, trigger alert to the people on the spectrum. If you're autistic, he does have an accent, although I must say it's improved over the past century that he's been here. So he has worked on it, I guess, at home on tape recordings. He's now doing voiceovers for things like how to teach your dragon, and he's actually educated at the University of Strathclyde, which has a great football team, a great rugby team, and used to play Australian rules football, but they were in Glasgow, Scotland. Phillip McGrade is an independent media production professional, writer, and actor known for his quick wit. Well, we'll see about that. An amazing accent, which it says here. He was the voice of Starkard in How to Train Your Dragons, the people who love How to Train Your Dragon. I think there might be two of them. I'm not really sure. And co-wrote I'll Be There, which is a great movie. I don't know. It's not like a rom-com. It's like a musical com. It's not even a rom-com, but we'll talk about that. He was a writer on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson and Brand X with Russel Brand. He has a movie getting ready to come out called Unfriendly Fire about the American Civil War. I don't know anything about that, but let me just see what else I got on this guy. Brand X with Russel Brand back in 2011, 2012. The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, who I believe is also in search of the Loch Ness Monster, but I think he may be an American citizen right now. He worked on that show for seasons 3 and 4, 2006, 2008. I'll Be There, the screenplay feature film, 2003. We're going to find out how Hollywood works, because I have no idea. And this guy probably knows more than I do, because he's got more credits than I do, which means a lot in this town. If there is an industry left, I have no idea, but we're going to bring on Phillip McGrade at this point to find out how the hell he got to the United States and what is he doing here now. Well, Phillip, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Lovely to see you. I love your hat. Love the whole vibe. You're looking very Silver Lake. You look like
well, we're not quite there, but we're on Silver Lake adjacent.
Yeah, you look like the king of the hipsters.
I'm the king of the hipsters, and they're not getting their hats back. I've cornered the entire market. Now, what do you got going on back there? Looks like a whiteboard for a sitcom or something you're working on.
Oh, actually, there is some sitcom stuff. Yeah, I was working on a sitcom idea. Yeah. The last thing I wrote that got made, I don't know if it's on there. I wrote it in English and they translated it into Arabic for the Shahid Network, which is actually like the Netflix of North Africa and the Middle East. So I wrote 2 half-hour dramas. And I thought I watched them, but I don't know what the hell they're saying because they're not talking my language.
Wait. What are the shows called, Phil?
So it's like a Black Mirror type show.
I think okay.
Yeah. And I wrote 2 half-hour ones, and there's one of them about a footballer, and there's somebody's going to shoot his mom if he doesn't miss the penalty. And there's another one about a woman who's a kind of professional assassin. I mean, there's like twisty kind of things, Yeah.
Right. But this is like Black Mirror for primitive cultures where they're beating each other over the head with sticks, or what is it? An advanced culture, or is it?
So it's just like the streaming service in I think it's Saudi Arabian money. It's called, is it It's NBC, Middle East Broadcasting Corporation.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And it's Saudi money, and so they buy stuff. But they said to me, if you're going to write anything set in Egypt, no kissing, no army on camera, no
Right.
cops on camera,
No
but you
cops?
can, no cops, but you can have belly dancing.
Okay, so
Okay.
these are the rules of Middle Eastern Netflix, you're saying.
Yeah.
Can you have Jews?
You know, I didn't ask that. I didn't want to
Okay.
offend
Well,
them.
they assume. They just assume you knew, right?
Yeah. But it was quite. I mean, it was quite an interesting experience to watch your story in another language. Obviously, I knew what was happening, but it's just like I had a sort of the footballer's mum was fussing over him, sort of like an archetypal Jewish mum, you know.
Right.
And they totally got that. So it makes me think that maybe these cultures are not so far apart, you know.
Or they may be watching, like Mel Brooks movies over there in Nigerian, having it translated.
That's true. That's
okay,
true.
So why don't we go back to the beginning when your family was in Braveheart and you were just, I don't know, living off the land of Scotland. I don't know anything about Scotland. Everything I've learned about Scotland, I know from you. Let's take a look at Scotland and see what the hell we're talking about here. Here's obviously your first home. That was a starter kit. That's the garage there on the left, I believe, and that's kind of your plaything over there, your playland, right?
Right. So I grew up in a very urban setting, very different from the castles and the sort of touristy Scotland, more like in a tenement. It's funny, I was in New York last weekend and seeing all these tenements, I kind of felt like I was back home again, you know?
That's what I figured. Where did you grow up, in Glasgow or?
In Glasgow itself, yeah, southeast of Glasgow, yeah.
Right, I assume you grew up in the Gorbals.
Well, actually, I wasn't far from the Gorbals. Gorbals is just down the road, about 10 minutes. And the Gorbals was a sort of famous, it was a famous kind of entry point for a lot of immigrants. You know, they had, at one point, they had 3 different Yiddish newspapers in the Gorbals.
Is that true?
Yeah. It was there was a big thriving Jewish community there.
Wow, so it's like the Warsaw Ghetto.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
But then people then moved out to, there's a quite a big Jewish community in Glasgow. There's White Craigs and people jokingly call it the Golan Heights,
Well, it's like on the south bank of the River Clyde or something, right?
Right,
Isn't there a river right there?
They used to say that the Clyde, Glasgow made the Clyde and the Clyde made Glasgow because they widened the river, and it was the second city of the empire. So Manchester was where the Industrial Revolution happened, but Glasgow was a big part of, that they had the tobacco lords and, it was a big industrial town. They made a lot of ships there at one time,
Well, let's go back to the 1600s, because who was this guy, King James the 7th or the 6th or something? 7th, right? I'm just trying to think of my old history class. Anyway, he combines all 3 countries into one, Philip, or?
Yeah, I think what happened was they didn't have a dude to be on the throne, and so they said to him, "Do you want to come down and be king here as well?" And so he came down with all of his court, and so he was the 6th of Scotland, but the 1st of England, and he was the guy that Shakespeare wrote Macbeth for because he was.
Is that true?
Yeah, because he was obsessed with witches. Like Scotland and Germany were the 2 places where they killed most old ladies living on their own on the basis that they were kind of witchy looking,
Right. What's the deal with witches? It was just like a warning to everyone else not to get out of line. I mean, did they really believe they were?
I don't know. I mean, I think part of it was, the Catholic Church, there was a book called the Malleus Maleficarum, and it was a book where how to spot a witch, and you would.
I've got the audio book, but it's in Scottish, and I'm having a tough time. It's in the original Scottish.
Right. So they actually believed that people would have a mark on them if they were witches, and I mean, I don't know. I think it was maybe just that fear of women or maybe, herbalism or whatever. But I'm sure most of it was absolute nonsense,
Right. Well, David Mamet was talking about it. He was talking about recently. I saw him in an interview talking about witches and how it was representing something else other than witches.
Yeah.
like don't get out of line or you'll end up like this.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, I was at a wedding in Scotland a few years ago, and there was a Presbyterian church where the wedding was being held, and they had a chain outside the church with a metal collar on it. And if someone was a sinner or was done something terrible, if they'd been
Is that
seen,
true?
seriously, yeah, if they'd been seen dancing on a Sunday or whatever, they would put this fucking chain around their neck. And they
Oh,
would
they
keep,
had. I mean, have you ever? Were there stockades there back in the old day? Like they
no, I
put the
didn't see
guy.
those. I didn't see those, but this was a rarity. I mean, it's like a throwback that I happened to be
Right.
there. So my friend was getting married in Ayrshire, which is where Robert Burns was from, and they chose this old church, and I had this kind of sinners kind of neck thing, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, very sort of repressed and, you know, earnest. The Scottish Calvinists were very, you know, yeah, they were very serious, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were growing up, I mean, did you have a mother and father and kids and everything else, or?
Yeah, like siblings.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think you
So
call it siblings in your culture. I don't know what we call
okay.
it here.
Okay. So so I'm the second of four kids. My father was a construction worker,
Right.
and my mother was working in a sort of primitive version of a supermarket back then. And they
Well, let's
met.
take a look. I just want to take a look. Maybe you can identify some of these
Yeah,
people here.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
who
Okay.
are all these people,
So,
for
so
instance?
far left is me. That's me, and the shorts
It's right
with the
here, yeah.
knobbly knees. And then next is my sister, who's now a retired lawyer. And then there's my dad, who was a construction worker. My mum, my younger brother, who's also a lawyer, and then my older brother, who passed when I was about 28. He got brain tumor and died. But he
Wow.
was a monk. He became a monk. He joined. He
How
went
do you
to
become a monk? Is there like a union or something you join, or you go to monk school?
There is you basically you do a month-long retreat to see if they can stand you, and then if you still want to do it, you do a kind of probationary period for a few years, and then you take a vow of chastity, obedience, and stability. So you're not going to run around, you know.
So okay, so it's all three. It's not just
Yeah.
what is stability?
Monks,
Stability means you can't drink or something, or
well, stability means that you accept that you're not going to be moving around unless they send you somewhere, you know, because they lived in this big monastery near Brighton, and it had what happened was when the French Revolution kicked off, the monks left France. It's the guys who make chartreuse, this green liqueur, and they were called the Carthusians. And so anyway, he joined this crazy monastery, and he got ill and he died there. And so he's buried in this place where they don't even put them in a coffin. They have them on a stretcher. They just kind of tip them into the ground, you know.
what? They're straight up and down, or they tilt them, or
Oh no, I mean, it's just a normal grave, but there's no gravestone and there's no coffin. So the idea is that they've rejected all worldly vanities, like a wooden box. You don't need that, you know.
what is the Scottish relationship to the Pope? Are they friends with the Pope? They
Well,
hate the
you know,
Pope.
Glasgow is quite, you know, there's maybe, I don't know, probably, I'm guessing about maybe 15% Irish Catholic. And
I was wondering about that.
yeah, I'm Irish Catholic. But so people left Ireland during the famine and settled in Scotland, came there looking for work, you know. And so like when I was at school, I didn't know anyone who wasn't Irish Catholic. Elementary school, high school. I was at university before I really knew anyone who wasn't also called O'Shaughnessy or O'Neill, or, you know. So you grow up in the Catholic school system. All you meet is other kids like you. I think there was one Italian kid in my high school, and people would sort of be racist towards him because he wasn't Irish, you know.
What are the Scottish Calvinists or something?
Well, the Scottish are more Calvinist. Yeah. The Scottish are more Calvinist. Yeah.
And what are the British or what? Episcopalian?
Well, the British have a number of different churches.
Anglican.
The English have the Anglican Church, which is basically Henry VIII saying, I just want to have a son, and I want to be able to kill my wives, and and so there's that. The Anglican Church is not. It's not any different really from the Catholic Church. There's two wings to the Anglican Church. There's one wing that's evangelical and one wing that's very Catholic. Yeah. Yeah, but there's not. I mean, England's changes. You get a big Muslim community, and probably a lot of people who are not religious.
What about Scotland though? It's still like 93% white or 95%.
No, I think it's changed. It's changing. I tell you, I go back every couple of years, and as a friend of mine, I used to be a stand-up comic. A friend of mine who was a comic, he was African American, and he used to say that whenever he was doing a gig in Scotland, he would have to go into the record store to the jazz section to see other black people.
That's funny.
Changed. Yeah,
that's funny.
But that's changed. I mean, there's Somalis there. There's
Somalis are there too. These people. Is anybody left in Somalia? They seem to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. I want to take a look at this map and see where the hell we are. What is this here? I don't know what this map is. There was a map of Scotland. There's a map of the back of my house over here.
Okay, there's Glasgow. There's
you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. So I'm from Rutherglen, which is kind of I mean, it's perhaps not the most exciting map. It's mostly freeways on there.
Well, it's a low budget operation. We had to go to Google Maps for this. But okay, so they invent scotch, right? And then what happens?
Yeah.
They drink the scotch.
Yeah.
And that's like in the 1600s or 1500s that scotch is invented.
Oh, I wonder if it doesn't go back even further,
Further, yeah.
Yeah, in the Highlands, they would have these illegal stills where they would place them near where the breweries, where the distilleries were, so that nobody could smell it, because the taxman would be after them. It was like moonshine, basically,
Right. Well, the Dutch started to make gin,
right?
Because of Braunschweig translating the Egyptian text on how to make perfume, and that becomes distilled liquor essentially.
Oh, is that right?
They put juniper berries in there, and that becomes gin and Dutch courage and everything else. And then every other country takes whatever crap produce they have and throw it into the hopper and make their own thing. So like the Russians use potatoes to make vodka. The Dutch had tons of juniper berries, so they made gin. And then you guys made scotch.
Right.
Probably soon after the Irish started to attack, drunk out of their minds, from the gin that they got from the Dutch. Now, what I read is that it led to so many concussions that Glasgow became the concussion capital of the world for science to study craniums that were cracked open.
Yeah, there is something called the Glasgow scale. If someone's in a coma.
What?
There is. No, you can Google it. It's called the Glasgow scale, and you can tell how bad someone is. And I'm assuming it came from there, Yeah. Actually, it's a place that's kind of a little bit. A friend of mine says, if you imagine Braveheart set in Detroit in the 70s, he describes growing up in Scotland, growing up in Glasgow. So it was a big city, lots of public housing, lots of gangs, and a sort of religious war between the Catholics and the Protestants. Because remember, Northern Ireland is just over the water,
Yeah, I see that. It's pretty close. Dublin is right over there.
Yeah.
I mean, would you guys go to Dublin as kids on a ferry or something? Or
we would go from Larne to Stranraer, because my father's people were in the north of Ireland. But people who were from Dublin would probably go from Wales,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What is Wales like a separate little
it's
sovereign
country.
State? Like, what is Wales?
Yeah. So it's its own country. I think they have some kind of partially devolved government, and then they have their own language. So there's two kinds of Celtic. The Irish and Scottish are very similar kinds of Celtic language, but Welsh is a whole other thing. It sounds like somebody coughing up flame,
Now, this photo here is obviously one of your early photos growing up here.
Yeah.
This is, I think that's you taking out the garbage you said earlier, like in the backyard.
That's actually my home.
That's your home over there, right? That's the backyard where you learned how to play football.
That's not a million miles from the back of the house. The first place we lived. I mean, obviously that's a slum. We were in a slightly nicer neighborhood. But I mean, it's not a million miles from that, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think this is the Gorbals, but
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure where that photo is taken. It looked like it could be 1805 based on what's going on
Yeah.
there.
No, it's probably 60s. I think it's weird. Parts of Scotland are Glasgow are so gentrified now. You got people buying these pictures of horrible poverty and having it up in their arts and crafts home.
Is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Okay,
it's a
so
place. It's a place that's got a lot of attitude. It's not dissimilar to Liverpool. There's a
I
kind
was
of
thinking about that. It
kind
seems
of
like a
what the
working
fuck are you
class
looking
kind of
at?
area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little bit like New York. They're very direct, little bit aggressive. That they'll sort of stab you and then drive you to the hospital. And that's the
That's
kind
nice.
of.
And what about the pub culture? Is it the same as London, or is it different? Are there different rules than in England?
So my one of my uncles had a pub at the Gorbals, and it was described by a pub review once as they said, "This is the dirtiest pub in Scotland, possibly the world." There was a cat in there up on the bar. It was what they called a wine shop, so it only sold cheap wine, really. And it was mostly unhoused people that were frequenting it. And it was just a mess. So some of the pubs are like that. And then some of them are like gastro pubs now. They're kind of fancy. So you've got a whole gamut. But when I was a kid, a lot of the bars were hard drinking places. And I think the rule was you weren't allowed to you weren't allowed to see into the bars, so they would smoke the glass, and there would be some kind of, there would be two sets of doors. So when I was a kid, the pub was kind of mysterious.
Maybe you can explain for the people here what the hell Braveheart was about.
Braveheart,
Because
yeah,
Braveheart. I mean, just the movie itself. I mean, because people look at Scotland and all they know is Braveheart, Phil. They know two things. They know Braveheart, and then later they know Train Spotting. So I was wondering if maybe historically you could explain what the hell is going on in this movie, because
So
it seems like there's a lot of angry guys,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then there's a line that you're not supposed to cross,
yeah,
that somebody's crossed.
yeah.
And I don't know if Romans are involved or the British or who. What is going on here?
So Braveheart was actually written. It's about William Wallace, but it was written by Randall Wallace, who was a descendant of William Wallace. But
Right.
it's mostly kind of it's not massively historical,
Right.
But it had a strange sort of galvanizing effect in the Scottish independent movement.
Wow.
Yeah, the part of the reason they've got a parliament is that people got all fired up. Like, people in Scotland went to see Braveheart, and then they came outside the theatre at night and were looking around for English people to attack. They got all kind of fired up about it. But it's
Well, here's a picture. Here's a picture of your agent from Scotland, one of your first agents. I don't know what he's so angry about, but how come you guys did not go like Ireland did and try to really give the British headaches? Or, I mean, it seems like there was a nationalist breakaway movement a couple of years ago, but nothing like the Irish.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think some of it was so Scotland tried to start its own colony somewhere and got massively into debt somewhere in the era of the Dutch East India Company. And so they agreed to do this merger, this act of union. So they combined the two parliaments. So it was a sort of business merger, and then also they borrowed their king. And so I suppose the two countries sort of merged. But at the same time, any Scottish person, if England are playing against any other football team, the Scottish people will always support the non-English,
Is that true?
Yeah, they see anyone but
But I
England.
mean, you weren't on the side of the Nazis in World War II.
No.
No,
Well,
I
think the Irish were
mean, you drew the line. You drew
Yeah.
a line in the sand there. We're not going to go that far.
Yeah. I think the Irish were more neutral than on the side of the Nazis. I mean, maybe there's one or two. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Were the Irish neutral? I mean, they
They were
seem to
neutral.
be.
They were neutral.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And Churchill didn't want to call them up because he didn't want them, a whole bunch of Irish people going back home with soldier training, But
He didn't trust them, did he?
they didn't trust them. No, I mean, historically, one of the reasons the English were so hard on the Irish was they were always afraid after England became a Protestant country, that the French and the Spanish could use it as a landing base to attack.
Oh,
You know,
interesting. As a Catholic landing
yeah,
base.
yeah. So
Right.
that was part of it. You know, that was part of it. Yeah.
Right. But you guys never had, like they did, the Troubles.
No, well, there was a long history of wars back and forth between
Right.
Scotland and England, Mary Queen of
Yeah.
Scots and the Rough League. So there was a lot of, there was a lot of conflict and fights between them. And I mean, even when I was in my teens, there was a football match between Scotland and England. And not only did Scotland win, they beat this team that had won the World Cup. And after they won, they just went insane. They rushed the pitch. You know, they ran onto the field and they dismantled the goalposts and brought them home with them. Like, so there's a very martial spirit about Scottish people, you know? Like, they say that the Special Air Service, the Special Forces in Scotland, is known as the Scottish Air Service because it's mostly little Scottish guys that love killing things, you know?
They love killing things, don't they? But explain to me what this Loch Ness Monster is. I've always been curious.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it like, does my theory has always been that it was like a Plesiosaurus from the Stone Age,
Right.
There was just legend passed on from the dinosaur age.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think they keep it going. It's great for tourism.
Well, now, yeah, but
yeah.
I'm saying, where do you think there must have been some truth at the beginning?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know how those things evolve. Yeah. I mean, there was even a story that Alistair Crowley had lived there and he'd summoned something, and that's what people were saying, you know? Yeah. I don't know if you ever
Alistair
heard
Crowley, the Satanist you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a black magician, whatever he was.
Black magician, whatever.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the Magicians Union, but
No.
he never. No, he wasn't in the show business Magicians Union, but he kind of set himself off. So you think this is just a myth? This Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, as you people call it.
Nessie. Yeah.
No, Nessie is just named after the Loch Ness where it is, right? Or...
Yeah. And I think, it's a big tourist draw, and people have spent a lot of money going, in deep sea submersibles looking for it. I mean, is that true? It is a big body of water, but no one's ever found it, I mean, I would have thought if there was a dinosaur there, somebody would have found it by now,
Well, they say that about UFOs also, Phil, but still that continues. You think that they would find?
Wouldn't there have to be a whole family of them?
Of UFOs breeding together?
No, of dinosaurs.
Oh, no, but I'm saying it may have died off. Let's say it died off.
Yeah.
In the year 900.
Maybe it got dinosaur AIDS. Who knew?
It got Dino AIDS and Placeris of the Caninglis, and then it couldn't reproduce because the female died.
Yeah.
So he lived another 71 years, and then he died.
Yeah.
But that might have been like the year 600, let's say.
But then wouldn't they find the bones or some remains of it
underneath the water? You think, or
what did the bones just kind of wash away like ice cubes?
Yeah, they go down in the mud. I mean, like anything else, go over to the La Brea tar pits, and there's woolly mammoth tusks in there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a big tourist thing, and people have done movies around it and all that. But yeah.
Well, let's talk about your movie, because I remember seeing this movie, which it's kind of a musical. It reminded me of The Commitments in a weird way.
All right. Yeah.
It's got this girl in it who's smoking hot. What happened to this Charlotte Church? She had a voice like an angel, this girl.
Yeah, so she runs some kind of new age retreat center in Wales now,
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she's so I'll tell you the history of the project was that.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, because I'm curious.
Craig Ferguson was approached by her production people saying they were looking for a vehicle for her, and he came to me and he said he was a bit stumped with an idea. And I said, what if, like Steve Tyler discovered he had a daughter he didn't know about? I said, what if she's this daughter you didn't know about, And so the basic idea,
which would be Liv Tyler in the case
Liv
of
Tyler.
this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was the kind of premise of the movie, but I mean, it's kind of silly and playful, and yeah.
Well, is Redgrave related to the Redgraves?
She is. Yeah.
Oh, I had a feeling she was.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks like a big budget film. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
got
think it was like,
Bud Carr as the music supervisor.
yeah,
He
yeah. I
works
think it
with
was,
Oliver Stone a lot.
yeah, it might have been like, yeah, I think it might have been about 4 million or something.
I
To
would say 5
remember.
million. It
Yeah.
looks like, yeah.
It was Morgan Creek Films who did it, and
It's a big company.
yeah.
James Robinson, I assume, was the producer on
he
it.
was.
And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he
yeah,
was,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jim
Yep.
Robinson. Yeah, yeah, and
I mean,
Guy something was the guy who was running it there. Guy.
Oh, McElwain.
Yeah,
McElwain.
McElwain. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
McElwain.
real
I'm sorry.
character. He was a real character.
Yeah, no, he's a real
I remember
character.
meeting
There.
him in London. He said to me, "John Cusack cannot open a movie." I'm like, pleased to meet you.
Well, was that supposed to be him at first, or what?
That was like, he would come out with these lines, like it was something that.
Well, how did they give the movie to Craig Ferguson? I mean, had he directed anything?
Well, no, he hadn't directed anything, but he'd done a movie called Saving Grace, which had made a lot of money.
Oh,
Had been a big hit.
right.
He'd done that.
Right.
He'd done another movie called The Big Tease about a gay Scottish hairdresser, which also had made money. So they thought to themselves, well, this guy's probably bankable. Charlotte, I called her Scarlet Church almost there. I think Scarlet Church would have been a cooler name, but Charlotte Church, they were trying to develop a movie for her, and so that was how it came together. And at one point they gave us all these notes about the script. I remember Craig said, I said, well, so what do you think about these notes? What should we do about it? And Craig says, yeah, I think we just tell them to go fuck themselves and we'll take the movie somewhere else. And I'm like, you can do that, because I thought it was their money to develop it, but he went to a different company, and I think they bought them off.
Well, but you co-wrote the script.
Yeah. So I did a draft of the script, which Craig substantially rewrote.
Right.
Yeah. And we kind of we worked together a little bit on the idea in London. I think he was out here. Oh yeah, he was doing a movie in Russia, some kind of union themes thing, and So we came up with the idea together. I did a draft. He did a draft. Yeah.
Well, here's a picture of that's the Big Tease, obviously.
Oh, that's the Big Tease. Yeah, and he wrote that with another. He wrote that with another friend of mine, Sasha Shavazi.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I remember that guy. He's he's married to the Rothschild lady.
He's married to the Rothschilds. Yeah, and
that was a smart move on his. Didn't he write The Terminal or something?
He did write The Terminal. You've got an encyclopedic memory for movies.
I don't remember anything. I just have a memory from 10 years ago. Anything between now and 10, I have zero. But I liked "I'll Be There," and it closes out with the song "I'll Be There" by the Box Tops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got great music in this movie. That's why I thought about The Commitments.
Yeah.
Which I think is Irish.
The Commitments is Irish. It's Dublin. Yeah. That's a fun movie.
But even Craig, playing guitar and looking like a rock star.
Yeah.
He's got it down.
Yeah. No, he's great in that. And Charlotte Church was lovely. Yeah. No, that was a fun movie. I mean, it didn't do the business they'd hoped, I would say,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of Redgrave. She was a cold as ice Contessa, if I remember correctly. That chick. Am I crazy? I just remember her being cold as ice. Like, I don't even know what her motivation was, other than I hate this guy, and somehow I'm going to end up with him, and there's not going to be any beat leading up to it. I'm just going to flip the script at some point.
Yeah. There was a bit of a turn there. Yeah. And Josh Ackland plays her grandfather. He plays this
dude. That guy was great. Yeah. What's the deal with that guy?
So he's one of these kind of British theatre guys who's been in a ton of things. I think he died maybe last year. Yeah, but he was lovely. I remember Craig saying he came on the set and he said, Craig said, the thing about actors is when you're an actor, you're just concentrating on your performance. But when you're directing something as well, you've got a lot in your plate. You got a lot of lights and blocking, and there's a lot going on. And he said Josh comes up to the set and he said, my driver was very chatty this morning. I'm not in a good mood.
Well, for people at home that haven't seen the movie, the grandfather of the family is an aging rockabilly star who's like 70 years old, who drives around Scotland, I guess, in a beat up bus tour bus and plays gigs in like rundown bars.
Yeah.
But they happen to be very good.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, he's overweight. He's got white hair and a white beard. Looks like Santa Claus. But they're doing like rockabilly standards, or maybe some that Bud Carr probably actually wrote some of those. But
Those
that's
songs.
kind of funny. And then he kind of bonds with Craig Ferguson, who created this girl in a one-night stand in 1987 somewhere in a club, the greatest night of his life. That was even better than playing Giant Stadium in New Jersey in 1989.
Yeah, and it opens with him getting on his motorcycle in his kind of rock star house and driving it through a stained glass window, which is that's a fun beat. Yeah.
And then they put him, I don't know if this is legally possible, but they put him in an insane asylum, which seems like something right out of Cuckoo's Nest.
Right.
With a guy just hit a big fat guy, I remember, just pounding one key on the piano. And then he takes over and starts playing.
I've forgotten this.
Yeah, he starts playing some boogie woogie, and the whole institution is dancing inside of the nut house when his ex-girlfriend shows up with her daughter.
That's right. It's an homage to Amadeus. I remember there's a moment in it where the Foley guys, the sound guys, were improvising for some background dialogue at one moment, and one of them's got this chess piece, because there's a chess piece in the room, and he keeps going, horsey goes up, horsey goes down,
horsey goes up.
Horsey goes. Yeah, there's some funny stories from the movie. At one point, they were doing a recce of locations to shoot in outside London, and one of the American producers said, "I don't know if I really like that door. I'm not sure about that door there." And the British location guy says, "That door is older than America." Like a Michael Caine line, you know?
Yeah. It sounded like Michael Caine. But it's a delightful little movie. I really recommend it if you can find it. I think it's on Peacock somewhere or something.
Yeah. It'll be free somewhere now.
Yeah, no, it's for free. You don't have to pay to get in. And it's a delightful, fun movie. It's clean.
Yeah.
Not unlike a movie I watched the other night, which was Showgirls. Oh, here's a poster for it. Yeah. That's like his mansion. I don't know whose mansion that actually was.
Yeah.
It might have been McElwain's mansion for all I know.
Yeah. He busted his collarbone. Craig was on the Harley showing off to some.
Is that true?
People. Yeah, and he shot this scene with a busted collarbone. I was like, dude, that is so impressive. You know?
I know he's been with a lot of women. I wondered if he ended up with Charlotte Church on
No. He's married to a very nice lady
now.
And no, yeah. So I think he's been married 3 times.
Well, they say 3, but I've heard stories it might have been more. If you
go on YouTube and watch the clips of him from the talk show, nobody is more flirtatious. No one is more flirtatious.
I know.
And it's extraordinary, but I think it must all have been terribly innocent, because there was no whiff of Me Too about it. He just was super flirtatious.
Well, you're super charming. I guess he lives in. I think he lives in New York now. Maybe he moved.
He's in Maine. He moved to Maine, Stephen King country.
Oh my God, that's what. Well, he probably has a podcast, and that's how it most people go.
I think he does. He had something called Joy. I think Joy.
Oh, Joy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he actually has guests on. I think, right? They come in the studio.
I think so.
Right. Okay. I think I've seen it once before.
Yeah.
But I love Craig Ferguson. I was a big fan of the show. I know that Letterman owned the rights to the show, I presume.
Yeah. It was a show that I think that CBS would never fully get behind, because they didn't own it, And then Dave was sort of winding down, So I think he wasn't very aggressive about pushing it. It was just a kind of like a part-time job for Dave, get a little bit of money. So I think it was a bit orphaned as a show, but it was fun. I mean, I think at its best, it was very unusual.
Let me ask you something. What was the deal with the robots all of a sudden? I remember there was a period of time where robots came in.
Right. So I think what happened was, so I was there for 6 years, and I think the show ran on for about another 1.5 years after I left. And so I was there for the beginning of the robots.
What is with this robot? What's the deal with this robot?
So what's that show, Mythbusters? Mythbusters.
Oh, right.
So I think the Mythbuster guys built the robot for him or something, and then they started out. The robot had some pre-taped things it would say that were mostly in the voice of George Takei, and then they went from that
George
to
Takei, right?
it was kind of oh my,
right.
So the
right.
robot was kind of camp. And then they went to bringing this guy, Josh something or other, who was an amazing mimic. He did Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, incredible mimic. And he would sit there and ad-lib, improvise sort of George Takei lines with Craig, And so that was the robot. And then they brought in a pantomime horse, which, if you don't know what a pantomime is, in Britain, they have these sort of Christmas seasonal children's plays, like you do Cinderella, but the men are going to be dressed as women and the women are going to be dressed as men. And there's a lot of call and response and throwing candy to the kids. So they had this pantomime horse on the show for reasons I couldn't easily explain. And every now and then the horse would come running out, and it's basically two guys in a horse suit, and they would play us music. And I think it was almost like, I almost got the feeling, I mean, I wasn't on the show at that point. I don't want to sound bitter, but I almost got the feeling he was fucking with everyone, He was saying...
Well, let me ask something. What went on in the writer's room? Because did you write his monologues, or what was, what was the assignment there?
We wrote everything. No, I mean, I don't know how it changed towards the end. I think he got a little bit like, I think he decided maybe he could ad-lib, more and more. But in the beginning, we would go in the morning, there would be 8 of us, and we would get a list of news stories, and we would be writing for about an hour and a half on the news stories. Then we would sit in a room with him and a writer's assistant who would type in anything funny that you could use.
Yeah.
And basically, I mean, it was a great job in the beginning. You're sitting with 8 of the funniest people on the planet.
Right.
And most of the things that are said in that room are not to be repeated, are completely unbroadcastable. But I would go home and my face would be hurting from laughing.
That's great. That's great.
That was great. But then over time, the 2 of the writers, the head writer changed and 2 of the other writers were promoted up. And I think the whole feel of the show changed a little bit. And it felt like it wasn't quite as playful, We were mostly working on our own in an office and then only coming together to punch it up, But it's a very, very intensive writing process. And if you're going to pay 8 guys a big chunk of money to write, trust me, no matter if you're Robin Williams or who you are, no one can be that funny that often every night. 5 nights a week.
This is not a weekly show. This is a nightly show.
Yeah, every day. And funny, if I went to see a Q&A with Jimmy Kimmel's writers, there's 4 producer writers, and they were talking about how they do their show. They start at, they've got a guy who gets up at 5:30 and collates the main news stories, and then they're writing from 7 to 9:30, and then they put something together, and then in the afternoon they work on skits, But it's very intensive. I mean, it's really is a job. And if you don't get stuff on, you've got a contract for 3 months, and you find out at the end of month 2 whether you've been picked up. So if you're not getting shit on the air, they'll let you go,
How long is the contract? 90 days?
It's a 3-month contract, yeah.
Wow. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, well, that's the way they do it, Keep you on your toes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I got health insurance out of it. I got a pension out of that. I was very, very grateful, and it was a fun gig, but it did change a little towards the end, I think these shows, there's politics and yeah. And I think he sort of seemed a little bit ambivalent about the whole thing over time. It was almost like he felt like he was a prisoner there, and we were his jailers. And we were like, you're there.
He was trapped there. I mean,
he felt
this
trapped.
guy, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever.
He's incredible.
No,
incredible.
Right? I mean,
I know.
He came from, I want to say, the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, and then from there ends up on the BBC somehow with some kind of thing where he's a presenter of some sort, if I remember. Next thing I know, he's directing movies, and he's in a punk rock band as a drummer, Phil.
So he started out in a band called the Dream Boys with Peter Capaldi, who's one of the Doctor Who's. And
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's quite a well-known actor too. So he started out doing that, and then he started doing stand-up comedy as a character with
Oh,
the
it was that Hitler character.
Bing Hitler. Instead
Bing
of Bing
Hitler.
Crosby or Adolf Crosby, it was Bing Hitler. And
Yeah.
he was this kind of simple-minded Scottish, character that he'd invented. And that was huge in Scotland.
Right.
I mean, he's younger than me. I remember sitting at home seeing this guy on TV and thinking, my God, that guy's younger than me and he's very funny. Who is this guy? And then I met him about maybe 10 years later, and he was all coked up at the Edinburgh Festival, and he got big. At one time, he was a heavy beer drinker, and he was big, and wearing a Stuart Tartan suit, with
Wow.
the, and somebody said to me, "Oh, you got to come and meet Craig," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Well, he seems to know what he's doing as a drugged out rock star.
Oh
in,
yeah, oh yeah,
Not
oh yeah,
unlike Russell Brand and Get Him to the Greek. It
right,
seemed like
yeah,
almost the same character, Phil. That
And that's
Russell
an interesting.
Brand,
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, yeah, and
isn't
I
it?
think yeah. Yeah, I mean, Russell and Craig quite different types of people, I would say. I mean, I worked with Russell for maybe 2 or 3 months on the Brand X show.
Yeah, what was the Brand X show? Maybe it was so
So
quick.
it was a talk show. It was a talk show. That was the plan. But I think Russell never liked to repeat himself. So if Russell said something super funny in rehearsal, and I would say to him, maybe you want to do that line again. That was a great line. He would say, no, I don't think so. I've already said it. I think I'll say something else. It's like,
Wow.
all right, Russell. So he was, I think, again, he had a sort of ambivalence. Like,
Oh, here's the show. Is this it
yeah,
here?
that's
Brand
it. Yeah,
X.
yeah. So I was a showrunner on the
I just remember him going into the audience repeatedly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think they had Meta World Peace was a guest on there, and Shepherd Fairy. Shepherd Fairy was on there one week. Yeah.
Shepherd Fairy, the plagiaristic artist who designed the Obama poster, but stole it from someone else.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah. He was, poster plagiarist. He had to confess in court that he stole it from someone.
Oh, is that right? So what about the Andre the Giant? Did he steal that too?
Yes, he stole Andre
really?
the Giant. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, so that was the vibe. I think at that time, Russell was quite left of centre. And then for whatever reason, perhaps, when all these other allegations came to the fore, he seemed to realign himself politically.
Now he's a born-again Christian, according to sources that I don't know exactly what that means. But
I mean, I wouldn't dare to question his sincerity, but I think it's, maybe he thought to himself, these people on the left will never forgive me. I know there's a home for me over this other side of the room,
Well, that's a little sarcastic, but nevertheless, he is a talented guy.
I know he is. He's funny. I tell you, he's
he's super funny, Phil.
He's very funny, and he talks like he's dictating a funny novel, like everything he says, and he's got this kind of slightly high voice too. Yeah, and I think he's probably mellowed. Like he's had some kids. He married an old girlfriend, and he's probably settled down.
Right.
I think when I knew
you think he's going to go to prison for life, from what you have told me.
No, I didn't know. No, I mean, I don't. I don't know what will happen there. I know Channel 4 in the UK. It's a big broadcaster. They did a whole piece about hiding in plain sight and all this. So they did a whole piece about it. I think they found a number of people that had similar allegations about him. But I mean, he'll have his day in court, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you were on that show, I mean, I remember there was a monologue for a while, and then he just started winging it, just like Craig Ferguson did.
Yeah. Well,
did he get rid of all the writers at one point?
There weren't a ton of writers on that show. There was me and a guy called Mason Steinberg, and there were one or two other people who'd pop in and out. So there weren't a ton of writers. It's a guy called Troy. I'm spacing on his last name. His production company that were doing it. So they're sort of doing it on the cheap. But I remember the producer saying to me that they had this kind of purpose-built theater to do the show. And
it was shot in town here.
It's shot here. Yeah. Out sort of towards Burbank. and then he would want to keep changing the theatre around, and yeah. I mean, he had a fanatical following amongst sort of young women, you know.
Really?
And
That's
he
surprising.
also, and he also had some of these Kundalini people, you know, the white Sikhs, because he did this Kundalini yoga. So you would have him doing all this very blue material.
Let me tell you something. There is not a cult that this guy has missed in his life. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't become a Mooney after a while.
Yeah. Well, he had all the tattoos. I remember he had the chakras going up his arm, and
Right.
you know, he was very kind of Eastern. But yeah, I mean, it was sort of, there were times the show could get a little bit sleazy sometimes. I remember they had 2 porn stars and a sex therapist on.
Yeah.
And I was doing it, and I was thinking, man, you know, I think I need to have a shower when I go home. It just got a little bit kind of like, oh, this is a bit creepy, you know? Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah. So I think he maybe wasn't a great fit for that format, because if you're going to do a show like that, even a weekly show, you know, it's sort of, you're like a kind of playing baseball or something. You got to repeat the thing over and over, and I think that wasn't his vibe. He liked to kind of
he liked to improvise.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, even Craig got tired of that being Hitler character after a while.
Exactly.
I assume, you know.
Yeah.
Now, were you doing? Did you do the Fringe Festival at all? Or?
I did. Yeah. I used to.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would drive through from Glasgow. I was teaching English in Glasgow, and it's about an hour's drive, and you go through, and you know, I mean, the Edinburgh Festival is basically the city of Edinburgh doubles in size, and every available phone box has got a Hungarian puppeteer doing Hamlet, you know, Hamlet in Hungarian. It's just a weird. It's the biggest arts festival in the world. So there's constantly something going on. Everybody's handing out flyers, and the stand-ups are a bit more accessible. So you usually would get an audience, you know. So you go there, you do your gig at, I don't know, you go on at 11 o'clock and then you drive home again, you know? Yeah.
Oh, you don't stay. Was Eddie Izzard there at that time? Or?
You know, I did work with Eddie. I worked with Eddie and Steve Coogan in London, actually. Yeah. I remember doing a gig with the two of them in this place called Raymond Review Bar. And it was basically a kind of strip joint, but I also had a little corner where they did comedy. And I remember seeing all these very kind of like golfer, they were in all the Japanese tourists who were all dressed in kind of golf attire, who walked into the comedy thing looking for the strip club, you know.
Wait. They were looking for...
They were looking for the strippers, but somehow they all accidentally come into this comedy venue.
Oh, my. So what was Eddie doing? What was Izzard's act at the time? The same act he did?
Oh, I think a lot of talking. He started out as a street performer. He used to do street work, you know. Yeah, he was incredible. I mean, he was always so confident and so different from everyone else, and so kind of he just had a real confidence in his voice, and you know, I mean, he was way ahead of the pack. And Steve Coogan too. Steve Coogan was doing a lot of impressions then, you know. Yeah.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. He used to do a lot of. In fact, there's 3 or 4 movies of him and a Welsh actor touring various places.
Oh, right. Yeah. I've seen those.
Yeah. They're fun. Like, they're doing Michael Caine, but they're both got incredible ears. So one of them will say, no, that's young Michael Caine. It's more like this. I mean, they're amazing.
Oh, right. They're debating which Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What the hell is that? It's like a travelogue.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice gig. You know, they're basically going to 5-star restaurants, bullshit, and getting paid a fortune for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get gigs like that, Phil. This is bullshit, man.
I know.
This is bullshit.
I know. Here we're sitting here with our teas.
Well, I wanted to talk to you, obviously, about haggis at this point in the interview, because I'd like to know a little bit more about haggis than I already know. I don't know much about haggis, and I assume it's the national meatloaf of Scotland. Here's a picture of it right here. Can you tell me what this is here?
So it's meat, and it's cooked in a sheep's stomach.
Okay, so that's the sheep's stomach right there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And what's inside of it, like meat and potatoes and onions?
And maybe oatmeal is in there. And
oatmeal, of course. Why would you leave out oatmeal?
So that image is probably from what they call a Burns supper. So there's a Scottish poet called Robert Burns. And once a year they have these Burns nights where they remember him and they recite his poetry. And he wrote a famous poem to the haggis called Odes to the Haggis. And then
Odes to the Haggis.
yeah,
Okay.
and so they recite that and then they cut it open, you know. He also wrote a famous poem about a guy who's drunk and he's heading home from the pub and he goes past the graveyard and he sees all these witches doing some kind of witchy thing and they chase them. It's a great poem and it's really fun. Make a great animated thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But haggis here's another haggis.
Okay.
Now, what is this haggis? Is this the same thing on lettuce? It's like
I think so. Yeah.
it's on a bed of lettuce. And what does it taste like?
It tastes like sort of minced meat, I'd say, you know. I mean,
it's hot. You eat it hot, Phil, or
you eat it hot with potatoes, or they call it tatties, and neeps, which is turnip.
wait a second. Turnip is on the side.
Turnip's on the side, potatoes are on the side. Yeah.
On the side,
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
nips.
Yeah. Neeps.
And then how big is this thing? Is this like 6 inches or?
Oh, it depends how many people you're cooking for, I would assume.
So that's what I was going to wonder, because you take this stomach and you stuff it based on the amount of people who are coming to eat the haggis.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
on haggis night, or as you said, on Burns night.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, as a little kid, like, what was the first time you ever had haggis? You have it as a kid, or?
I don't know. I think we had minced meat a lot when I was a kid, but I don't know if I really had haggis till I was a bit older, you know?
Did they serve you scotch in the morning, like as a kid, or like French have wine?
No, we did. We did. Yeah, I tell you, when I was little, if we were unwell, my mother would get soda, lemonade soda. She'd boil it boil it on the gas stove, and then put it in a cup with sugar. So it's a lot of sugar, and it's like and then whiskey, and it was called a hot toddy. So we would
a hot toddy. Okay.
Whiskey
Now, who are these people here? These are these people look pretty healthy.
That's my so left front of the photograph is my brothers, and then there's the lawyer, and then my cousin, the lawyer, and then there's me with the weird uneven suntan, my mum, my dad, and my sister, looking very serious.
Oh, but they look pretty normal.
That was taken in I think maybe that would either be the west. That's probably the west coast of Scotland, you know.
This is like their Malibu.
Okay.
No, I'm saying is this a beach community, or?
Yeah, I suppose there's an area
like a summer retreat.
Yeah, there's a town called Troon, which apparently has the most millionaires of any town in Scotland.
Wow, so it is like the Malibu of Scotland.
I suppose, yeah. It's just a funny idea, because I think in Malibu is surfers and celebrities, and down there's not so many celebrities or surfers.
Right. Did you guys have gypsies?
We did have gypsies. My mother we'd call them tinkers. My mother was very afraid.
Oh, tinkers. I've heard that.
My mother was very afraid of them. And if they came to the door.
Rightfully so.
it was like something I bought at. She would say, don't open the door to those tinkers, because they can put a curse on you. You know, they would come to the door and say, can we sharpen your knives, you know?
That was their come on.
Yeah. But she thought they could curse you. I think there was a lot of superstition, like during the Irish famine. The people that lost their land would end up traveling around, and they became the traveling people, or the tinkers, you know.
Yeah, and those were the gypsies. Yeah. They weren't Roma. They were Scottish.
Romany. No, I don't think we had Romany gypsies so much, you know. Yeah.
You had like the Irish kind of gypsies.
Yeah, they were Irish gypsies. Like I taught it.
Right. There's some of those in Appalachia and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Like I taught in a high school in north of London. And there were kids who were travellers, and they were smaller than the other kids, you know, almost like they'd been malnourished generationally, but they were great fucking fighters. And if you had a beef with one of them, you had a beef with all of them, you know.
Have you been watching Mobland with Pierce Brosnan?
I have, yeah.
I know you have. Don't try to deny it.
I have, yeah.
Okay. What is what's her name doing in this thing?
Helen Mirren. I think that's the most racist show I've ever seen.
I was just going to ask you.
I think it's horrible. And her character, what is her motivation?
I have no idea. My girlfriend and I are ripping our hair out. I can't watch Helen Mirren in this role anymore.
I don't know what happened. I think it's so. Here's my theory about that show. I think it's produced by Taylor Sheridan's people, you know, and they're trying to do a British Cockney version of Taylor Sheridan, and there was a real life Irish gangster.
Or a British Sopranos in a way too.
Oh, well, I mean, you cannot compare those two things because Sopranos is it's the greatest show ever written, and that is a pile of shite in my humble opinion. You know,
I know.
Yeah. And I think
I'm just a big Tom Hardy fan, so I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy.
I like Tom. Yeah, I like Tom. Yeah.
Well, let's go through some of these actors who've come out of your country.
Right.
I was thinking about Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Now
he's a friend of mine. I can't say it bad about him. He's a friend of mine. Yeah.
No, I've met him too.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've met him on occasion here in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I like the guy. I think he's quite charming and quite talented.
Lovely. Yeah.
But this is one of the top Scottish actors in on my mind in recent action films and everything else.
Yeah. And Jerry is very normal. Jerry's surprisingly normal off camera. He came on the Ferguson show as a guest. And I remember I was talking to him in his dressing room and I was asking him how he doing. He said, I've got this fan club, but to be honest, you know, I think it's just a bunch of lonely women that have cats and knit things. And really, they're just talking to each other about their cats. You know? Like he's very...
Yeah, he was very, very sweet, very self-effacing. He really took the piss out of himself. I mean... Now, ultimately, the number one guy that I would think of, the Marlon Brando of Scotland, has got to be Sean Connery.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Am I wrong here? I mean, I'm just saying
sure.
The number one guy going back to the beginning of film, this guy here.
Yeah.
Now, is he revered in Scotland? I mean, what do the people think of Sean Connery?
Yeah, I think he is. But, you know, Sean had a sort of, you know, he lived in the south of Spain, and he said he would only come back if Scotland was independent. And I mean, he's quite a strange character, you know. I think he gave
a nationalist.
He gave all of the money from one of his movies to some charity. I think it might have been, what was the movie he did? Yeah, there's one particular movie. I think he was very litigious. He was always suing people, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think also when he did the James Bond movies, they locked him in to do so many at a kind of relatively low rate, you know.
Well, could there be? Well, obviously they're going right now looking for a new Bond.
Yeah.
And could it be another Scotsman? Do you think there's a Scotsman out there that you might, who may be an unknown to us, who could be a new Bond?
Yeah, I think the best Bonds are the ones that do seem a little tough. They've got a little bit of that edge. Like I always felt like some of them are a bit too nice. Like Daniel Craig's got a little bit of toughness.
He's got a little bit of an edge.
Yeah. So I mean,
Roger Moore was just too campy.
No,
he was just a campy kind of Bond.
Too campy. Yeah.
Now let me ask something about James McAvoy because he's another Scotsman. What's your take on McAvoy?
Oh, I love him. I think he's a great actor. He was on.
Here's an image of McAvoy right here. I mean, he works all the time, Phil.
He's great. Yeah, you know, he was in. I don't know if you've seen that movie where he plays multiple personalities, and it's a M. Night Shyamalan movie. He's phenomenal in that, and he goes into this little kid's personality in the middle of it, and it's just mesmerizing. Yeah.
McAvoy's the shit. McAvoy really.
Incredible.
I mean, he works all the time. Some movies you don't even know it's him.
Yeah.
Now there's a guy who I can't stand who is also the face of Scottish theater, Brian Cox. For some reason I find this guy annoying, and he works all the time. I know he's talented.
Yeah.
He's just too overexposed, or he's got some smug. I don't know what it is. I can't stand Brian Cox.
Oh, really? So I mean, can you put your finger on what it is that you don't like about him?
He plays the same character every single time.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, Phil?
You know, he did Hannibal Lecter before Tony Hawkins did Hannibal Lecter. In the original Mindhunter, he was Hannibal Lecter. And I think
is he the poor man's Anthony Hopkins?
You know, I like the fact that there's a Scotsman out there making good money in show business. It gives me hope, you know.
Right. Well, we're just going to go one by one. I just wanted your take on Brian Cox. I know he's working now. People love him.
Yeah.
There is a guy named Ian McGregor, which I thought may be a guy you really like. Ewan McGregor. I'm sorry, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
EWAN. Now, what is your take on this on this Scotsman.
He's a great friend of mine, and I love him. And so in the conversation, no, he's great. He's a very sweet guy. He's just moved back to Scotland quite recently, and he goes round the world on a motorbike and
goes on the Motorcycle Diaries or something, right? He's like a traveler. He also directs, I think, on occasion.
Yeah. I think he might be directing something later in the year. I did a table reading of something that he's interested in directing. Yeah.
I like him. I like, of course.
Oh, he's lovely. No, he's lovely. I mean, he's just very sweet and funny, and again, there's a sort of humility, surprising humility with him. Yeah.
I think I saw him in something where some post-apocalyptic thing where one by one their senses disappear, and he's working in a restaurant as a chef or a chef's assistant with What the hell was that? It was
I can't remember the name of it. I've seen it.
Like their senses one by one disappear.
That's right. Yeah.
The sense of smell and taste and sight.
Right.
Really a freaky film. But okay, here's the only woman I could think of who works and may work too much, who's Scottish. And explain Tilda Swinton to me, because I've seen her where I've loved her and I've seen her where I've hated her. I don't know if she works too much. She's a freaky looking chick. Like, what's your take on this?
So
the Queen of Scotland here.
Yeah. So I also know Tilda, because it's such a small country. There's only that's everybody in Scotland covered almost. So Tilda started out doing these very art house movies for this super gay director who Derek Jarman. So she started out doing that, and then kind of became mainstream. But I think she's great. And you remember her in Michael Clayton with George Clooney?
Great in Michael Clayton.
She's great in that. I mean, I think she's great as these very cold characters.
Was she in that thing Snowpiercer by that Korean director?
I think she might have been. Yeah. But she tends to be a little bit typecast as this kind of ice queen,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Because apparently everything she does now is the same ice queen.
A little bit.
And it is typecasting, isn't it?
Yeah. I think she was at the same school as Princess Diana.
Is that true?
Yeah, the late lamented.
You're saying that they were lesbian lovers, or you're not saying that?
I think she was a couple of years older, Tilda.
Okay, so she dominated Princess Diana.
If you want.
That's what I want. I just want to know.
I don't want them killing me in a tunnel, so I'm saying nothing.
Right. There's bridge and tunnel traffic, as we used to call it in New York. Now, there used to be a sketch. I don't know if you remember this sketch. This goes back to the original SNL.
Yeah.
And it was a sketch where Dan Aykroyd was in a Scottish tape store, and all they sold was Scotch tape in a shopping mall. And he was in a kilt.
He says, if it's not Scottish, it's not fun.
Yeah. And
I've
he's
not
with Fred
seen it, but I've heard about
This
it.
is a later version of it. This is the same sketch.
I've never seen it, but people have told me about it. That's funny.
There's the original one was with like Fred Willard, who would come in to buy, or Fred Willard worked there, and Aykroyd came in to buy Scotch tape. Or then these kids would come in, like just because they point out, look, all they sell here is Scotch tape, and the kids would like laugh their asses off and run out the door. I always got a kick out of that.
Yeah. The other Scottish voice that's unforgettable is Mike Myers. And
Mike Myers, right?
From Shrek and How to Train Your, not How to Train Your Dragon, How I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, a friend of mine produced, somebody who bought one of my scripts was a producer on that. And we're also producing a movie where Martin Lawrence ran down Ventura Boulevard on fire.
Oh, wow.
From Crack. That was another movie they produced. After Axe Murderer.
Right.
They had a lot of money and cred because of Axe Murderer. So they did this thing with Martin Lawrence, who somehow caught himself on fire in a sweatsuit.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Wasn't a stunt.
Freebasing on the set, and then ran down Ventura Boulevard on fire. You don't remember this?
Oh, it must be before I got here.
Right before you got here, yeah. And then Martin Lawrence kind of disappeared and retreated like they all do to Calabasas or Woodland Hills, where they've got some Scottish-style mansions, and they don't come out until their money runs out.
Yeah. Excuse me. Didn't Richard Pryor set himself on fire?
They all set themselves on fire.
Yeah. God bless.
I mean, when you're playing with that much fire. Now, explain to me Train Spotting, because I never really understood. You say that you were offered the part of Spud.
So Train Spotting was originally a sort of experimental novel that was written in a weird sort of Edinburgh dialect that doesn't sound like any kind of fucking dialect that I can understand. And I live an hour away from there, you know? And so Danny Boyle had done a movie before that called Shallow Grave, which was a kind of
great
low budget
movie
thing, all set in one house, and Ewan was in that, and Christopher Eccleston. And so Trainspotting came out, and I mean, everybody was mad about it. In fact, I did some voiceover work, copying some of the voices in it, you know, to when they brought out new editions of it. I remember just everybody went mad about Trainspotting. And I think the sequel wasn't as strong, you know?
Oh, this one here, Trainspotting 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't as strong, you know? And sometimes with those movies, you almost tarnish the legacy of it by making a second one, you know?
Well, was this the lead was McGregor, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he had the
the
shaved head, and then there was Spud and some other characters, and
it was all about.
I mean, just debauchery,
heroin addiction. Yeah. Choose life, choose a career, choose a big fucking television.
Here's a shot of McGregor, right?
Yeah, being chased they're being chased by the cops. Yeah, and they're playing Lust for Life over it, and he jumps on the bonnet of the car. Yeah. I think he had to starve himself for that, you know.
He looked emaciated in this part.
He was. Yeah, he was telling a story on a talk show recently about he was showing the movie to his younger kids, and they were just horrified at him swimming around in the toilet, and they were saying that's not real, you know. Yeah.
Well, there was good water in that toilet.
Yeah.
Well, Trainspotting was produced by Miramax. Here's a shot that I think you're talking about here.
Yeah.
And I remember the Weinsteins were freaking out because of the dialogue, and they had to put up subtitles, or there was a debate about subtitles.
Yeah. No, I think they did do subtitles for America. Yeah.
Right. But there was a whole controversy about the subtitle thing.
Yeah.
And the Weinsteins put up subtitles on it, which of course really helped. But
and it turned out it wasn't the worst thing that Harvey ever did.
I hear that he's done other things, but the subtitle at the time, that was the top of the list.
Harvey said, this thing needs subtitles, as he carefully masturbated into a plant.
I understand that. Harvey Scissorhands was using his scissor hands for other things.
Yeah.
That's when they got him, for the scissor hands.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they keep on charging him. Like, if you give somebody of his age like 50 years in prison, why did he keep charging them again and again and again?
Because they're vindictive cunts. That's why. I guess they.
Or maybe I think what happened was at the first trial they brought in a lot of outside, you know, other cases that were similar.
Yeah.
And that should not have been admissible, and that was why he got a chance to another go at it. You know. Yeah.
They brought in girls who went to high school with him.
Yeah.
They literally, they just said, we're waiving the statute of limitation on anything. And we're bringing in girls like Annabella Sciarra came in and said, yes, he once made a pass at me on some movie in 1989. I mean, it was just crazy.
Well, the weird thing was, I heard these stories about him years before he was ever charged. I remember seeing him at a BAFTA event on, you know, in this CAA building. Just, you know, it was a BAFTA, one of these the BAFTA awards, and he's sitting there on his own. And I thought, that guy looks kind of menacing, you know. But yeah, I mean, everybody seemed to know that he was, you know, kind of predatory. But maybe he got away with it for a time because he was making big movies, and then somehow the culture shifts, and you don't get away with that shit anymore, you know.
It also matters if you're working or not.
Yeah.
If you notice that they only go after people who can't do anything more for them. There are very few directors that were taken down. I mean, really the biggest fish was Brett Ratner.
Right. Yeah.
Who actually could have helped people working.
And maybe also, as the culture changes, what is acceptable changes, you know? I mean, it was always wrong, but it became obviously wrong and prosecutable with time, you know? Yeah.
Well, they had, like I said, they had to change the law to prosecute the guy. They had to get rid of the statute of limitations.
Right. Yeah.
They had to change a lot of things. That's why he's being retried all the time, because the higher courts are throwing these things out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, he's in Rikers Island, you know, in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Although I often wonder with those guys, like, somehow, just before the trial, they're all suddenly need walkers and wheelchairs.
Let me ask something. Could we get wheelchairs from the plane to the car? I mean, what is the limit to getting that wheelchair?
I don't
Like
know.
just for me and you, like how, like, because I'm tired of walking 9 miles to get to the curb. Can I look at these people and they're laughing. I got a wheelchair. This guy's pushing me, or one of those scooters. How do I get that? Do I just fill out a form?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous. It's bad karma. You sit in a wheelchair, you're telling the universe, I'm not using my legs anymore.
Well, I mean, if you're in Dallas and you have to make a connecting flight, it's like 11 miles, 2 trains and a cab to try to get to the other terminal. And I
Right.
see these people rolling by,
Yeah.
waving, bye-bye, sucker. And they just beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got PTSD from going to that airport.
Yeah. I broke my wrist playing tennis a few months ago, and I noticed that I could board first on the plane. I just went up and said, "Look, I've got some broken bones in my wrist, and I can only use this hand." And he said, "Yeah, go right ahead." They didn't ask to see any
That's all
documentation.
you needed? See, that's
That's
what I'm
all I-
saying. I think we could say anything to
You can
get
say
on
it.
that.
I mean, because they could be sued if they asked for
Right.
proof. I mean, I don't think I would do that. I was going to say
I don't have the balls to
No,
do it, but
no.
I think about it all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
You know, because I see those people that are so happy on those golf carts, just going by drinking martinis,
Yeah.
and I'm just dragging all my bags like a schlep, you know, and like trying to get to the to the middle seat so I can you know, live my life in the middle seat as long as I
Yeah.
Now what's Sarah doing? Is she painting, your wife? What is
She's painting, and she does art therapy in drug and alcohol rehabs.
Art therapy? Does she do equine therapy?
Doesn't do that. No. What she does is she'll say to them, draw a bridge from your old life to how you want your life to be. And what are the obstacles on that bridge? And is there anything under the bridge? How far across the bridge are you? So it's like getting people to draw where they are. And it's weird because I've covered some of her, covered for her at times, substituted for her. And it's what she's come up with is really amazing, And, a lot of people don't want to do it because they think, I don't draw, but then they get into it, she says,
Well, they could draw stick figures, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then she also does portraits and she does landscapes. In fact, she sold a couple of big, we've got these sort of Wall Street friends in New York, and she sold a couple of these gigantic paintings at the end of last year.
Are you still in the same place over here?
Same house, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've been there.
Still there. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I've seen what. Now you got the 3 kids, but now they're grown up.
They're all gone. They're all gone out of the house. The youngest might come back for a bit, but they're all one's in the Hollywood.
Where did they go? Where did they all go?
So the eldest is she's developed a dating app based on astrology called Stars Align.
I like that.
The boy works in
It's like an intergalactic Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. You can date any alien you like, and then the boy is making music and modeling, and he works in treatment a little bit. And then the youngest is at community college, and she was nanny, and she also does music. She makes music, so they're all very arty,
Right. What is the boy doing?
He makes music and he models and he works in treatment, runs groups in treatment. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He's 6'5" and he wears cowboy boots. So if you're sitting down and
He's
walks into the room,
6'9".
he looks like he's about 6'9". Yeah.
Did he go to Fairfax High School?
I don't think he did. He was kicked out of almost every school in LA, but I think he skipped that one. He was kicked out of Malibu High.
That's really difficult to do.
No, he managed that.
Did he go to Palisades? Did he go to Palisades High?
No. I think he went somewhere else after that. I put his name in for the lottery and he got in there. I thought, man, this is what an amazing school. And I think
which one? Malibu you talking about?
This is the Pali High, and then they caught him with some shrooms in his bag.
He was caught with shrooms?
Yeah. I mean,
that doesn't get you kicked out of Pali High, does it?
Well, in his case, we spoke to the dean of discipline, and the dean said, "Look, if he gets his shit together, I'll take him back." They liked him, but he was selling drugs, and he's, you're a big giant redhead. You stand out anywhere.
You stand out. I mean, I got kicked out of school for lewd behavior. The dean said I did too many lewds. But that was back in the 70s. I don't even think they have lewds now.
Yeah. But
so he's 6'11", and he's got red hair.
Yeah.
And lives in this multi-ethnic city,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he got the shit beaten out of him in school.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think anyone beat he did about 3 years of Taekwondo, and he's you know,
Oh, that's helpful.
he's
That's
a big,
helpful.
you know, he's built like a tank, you know. I don't think anyone's beating the shit out of him. He's got a lovely girlfriend who we really like, and last summer he went around Europe with a couple of friends, and he was showing me, sent me these videos of him cliff diving, which you basically
That's scary. That's scary.
I mean, it wouldn't be me.
You know, I'm not a cliff diver.
No,
That's too
no,
much.
it's
You know,
too
I
much.
like, you know, I don't understand is people who jump out of planes with a parachute for fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would be the first guy out, Phil. I swear to God.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it for fun.
No, he's done that as well. I mean, he's quite.
I'm sure he did. My brother did it naked for his like 30th birthday.
Naked?
Yeah, I swear to God. They had some naked jumping thing, and
where do
he
you
jumped
land?
out.
Where do you land?
You land naked. I don't know. It's not in the middle of a city. You know, I don't know if he had shoes on. I really don't. It was some birthday thing he wanted to do, and he wasn't a nudist or anything. It was just.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Now tell me about this Civil War movie. What's
so
the
this
deal?
is a movie. So I did this movie called a friend of mine, Bernard Rose, did this movie called The Kreutzer Sonata, and it's like a kind of a little sort of indie movie. And the guy who was the maybe the DP or the first assistant director on the guy called Richard Tucci, he contacted me, and we did a bunch of little improvised things. And so he put this movie together. And the premise of the movie is that Kamala Harris wins the election, and then there's a civil war.
Oh, it's a modern civil war. I thought it was about.
So it's civil. It's called Unfriendly Fire. So it's the second American Civil War. It's in the future, and we're looking back. So it's like a talking heads documentary, and they shot it in this tiny little apartment. But it looks fantastic. And then they used some AI and stuff to recreate the things.
Let me ask something. Will AI replace you rather quickly?
I don't know. I don't know if you've ever tried to use it for anything creative. You know, you do immediately see the limits of it. You know, I've asked.
Well, but I mean, you could say, give me a Phil McGrade script that's a rom-com.
Yeah.
That's close enough to Phil McGrade's work, and we give you a first draft.
That's true. So it probably takes some of the work out of some of it. But I mean, I don't think it's there yet. You know, I think it'll make generic stuff. You know, I mean, if you imagine getting a computer to cook for you, it's possible, but I don't think it'll really. It's not very refined just yet, I don't think. I mean, do you use AI? I use it for like.
No, I don't use it for anything. I mean,
you don't touch it.
I don't know exactly what to do with it, except I use Grok, and now Grok 3. Right. I use it like I would use Wikipedia.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'll use it for like, let's say, I don't know, the dog had something going on, and I asked it, what should I do?
That's what I do. Yeah,
stuff like that.
If I have something on my penis, if there's like a thing on my penis,
a dog on your penis.
A dog bit my penis, I would immediately go to Grok 3. Yeah. But it says at the end, we are not doctors. This is just Grok, so you should get a professional opinion about that thing on your.
I've actually got
penis.
A friend who's working for XAI, and he's a very, very sweet guy, very smart, Jewish, and he's kind of embarrassed. He doesn't like to tell people he does it, you know? Yeah.
He works for AI, or?
Yeah, he works for AIX, which is behind Grok,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, people are freaking out about it, in the studio level, that they're going to replace every writer with AI in like 3 days.
I mean, I think it will. I think there'll be fewer writers, but I do think maybe there'll be a rush to quality. Like people that are really good will keep going. Yeah.
Well, maybe there'll just be a punch-up industry of people punch up AI scripts.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at what it comes up with, I mean, I'll look at it and I don't feel excited by it. You know, it feels a bit sort of. I think it's not there yet. I mean, maybe it will get there. You know, yeah. I mean, it is an amazing thing that you can ask it. Like I had a question about taxes, and it gave me all these suggestions. I mean, the speed of it is what's phenomenal. You know,
it's insane.
Yeah,
it's totally insane. But you can ask it questions about the JFK assassination, and it may say that Mickey Mouse was involved.
Yeah, I remember I went on the Chinese one, and I asked it about Tiananmen Square, and it said something. I mean, it might have changed, and it said something like, "Oh, that's outside of my remit." Or whatever. Yeah.
Now tell me about the voiceover work.
Oh, so I did a voice in How to Train Your Dragon,
Yeah.
the first one and the second one, and Craig had been asked, other Scottish people, we need Scottish actors to do the adults. And so I went over to Universal Studios and auditioned, and they had me do a couple of lines, and then they had me, can you do it slower or faster or whatever? And so I was like more of a background in the first one, and then a named character in the second one. In fact, I just
This is it here. This is How to Train Your.
That's the first one. Yeah. So
DreamWorks.
And they've just done a live action version of it with Jerry Butler. Jerry Butler, I think, was the only actor who continued over from the.
Oh, he's in the thing too.
Yeah, he's in the live one. Yeah, and he's great in it. Yeah.
Well, that seems like fun, easy work. You don't even have to get dressed up.
There you go. No, it was great. I really loved doing that. In fact, I saw that I went to a Writers Guild screening and I saw Dean Dubois. I don't know if he even remembered me. I bumped into him. He was coming out of the toilet and I was going in, And I said, I don't know if you remember me, the guy who directed this, Yeah.
That's so funny because I was in Amblin one time and I was in the toilet and we were supposed to meet with the head of Amblin. I opened the door of the toilet and there was Spielberg. And really? I went to shake his hand. He looked at my hand. He said, I don't think so.
You serious?
I swear to God.
That's a great story.
No, I mean, I'm just summing it up for you. But I mean, we were there. Me and Ed Burns, the actor, were there to pitch something. And Spielberg, I came out of the bathroom and Spielberg was right there. So my instinct was to just shake his hand. Then he looked at my hand. He goes, I don't think so.
Oh, that's funny.
Then a week later, I was on La Brea at a red light. And the car facing me in the red light on the other lane was Spielberg. And he just went like this.
Oh,
how weird is that?
That's very funny. Yeah. I remember I got to the audition a bit early, and it's got a lot of security. His production company is like a city within a city because you've got Universal, and then you've got his little bit, and it's all tiki torches. It all looks like something out of the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yeah.
And
these little hobbit cottages they have.
Yeah. It's kind of weird setup there. Yeah. But they said to me, why did you get here so early? Why were you sitting in your car? I think they're very security conscious, And I said, well,
sometimes they don't even let you on the lot. They'll just, before you go to the gate, they'll make you wait to go through the gate.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a great experience doing those two things. I enjoyed it. And then watching the movie again, it was fun to see it, live action. Yeah.
Remember when Craig was on the Drew Carey show? Did he break the fourth wall on occasion? That the character that he had.
Yeah.
Did he have? I vaguely remember that. Maybe it was a dream I had.
Yeah.
That he would break the fourth wall and talk to the audience on occasion.
Yeah, I think he might. I think his character might have done that. Yeah. I think that was his big break when he came to America. He was in another sitcom with Betty White. He was a pizza guy or something, and then he got that, and that was a big payday for him.
What the sitcoms were?
The Drew Carey one, yeah.
The Drew, he was on for a long time.
He was, yeah. And then also, I think he had a contract where there were episodes where he wasn't on it, but they still had to pay him, and it was just a great gig. Yeah,
that's a great gig.
He also wrote a movie, the movie called Saving Grace. They spun one of the characters from that movie into a TV show called Doc Martin. And this guy's
had the craziest career.
I know,
of all
and they
time.
made 7 seasons of that show. And he and the other writer, Mark something or other, they owned that was their intellectual property.
Well, Eddie Izzard owns all his shows, all those HBO specials.
Yeah.
His company or him, he owns them. Now he's a woman.
Yeah.
So I guess it's Edith Izzard. I'm not sure what his name is.
Yeah.
But he owned all those performance
interesting.
shows.
Yeah.
And that was ahead of its time. Like nobody had really done that. I think maybe Desi Arnaz had done it or something.
Oh, you know who was the same was who's the guy Medea? What's his name?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry. I think that was he always owned his stuff. Yeah.
Well, nobody's going to look at that anyway. So
right. Yeah.
But those movies make money.
Oh yeah, I was talking to an entertainment lawyer, and he said if anytime Tyler puts on a dress, it adds about 5 million to the box office. He said, which I thought was funny. Yeah.
I think Eddie Izzard ran for Parliament or something, but
He
I don't know
did,
if it was
yeah, as
the British Parliament.
as a Democrat. Yeah, I think he didn't win it, but yeah, yeah. I've met him a couple of times. He's he out here. Yeah,
Big fan. Big
Yeah.
fan. Love those early shows.
Right.
Absolutely. Like a British drag Lenny Bruce.
right. Yeah. Who do you like in the comedy scene now? Who do you like in the American scene? Who are you a
I'm
fan
trying
of?
to I can't even think of anybody.
Do you know who?
Who is there? Who is? I mean, where's Louis C.K.? Is he still in purgatory?
I'm not sure. I think he's probably. Sometimes those guys get cancelled and they make more money because they become slightly sort of taboo, and therefore, it can make them more interesting. I went to someone's birthday at the Chateau Marmont, which I've only been there about 3 times in my life, and I was sitting with somebody, and Chris Rock was walking past, and the guy I was sitting with knows Chris Rock, so he said, "Oh, hello, Chris, how you doing?" And I said to him, I thought the way he'd handled that whole thing with the slap and doing the stand-up about it was really cool. And I said,
Well, there's still Chappelle. I guess he's like
Yeah.
the number one
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Would
yeah.
be Chappelle, and then
Sure.
Chris Rock,
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know after that.
Yeah.
The bottom kind of falls out of
What about-
money making stand-up.
What about Bill Burns? Do you like him?
Not really.
No?
I look at these guys like B-level Boston comics. I mean, there's a
Right.
whole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking. There's guys who just and Joe Rogan's one of them, and
Yeah.
there's
I don't
a whole
think he's a great
world.
stand-up. He's not a great stand-up for my money.
Even Bill Maher, there's
Yeah.
another B-level stand-up.
Yeah, I don't
comic.
think he's I mean, he has a great team of writers on that show. I think the show is well
I
written.
think I have one coming on in a couple of weeks after you. There's
who's that? It's not Bob Oshak.
no, it's Enye Shayad. I forget the guy. I can't.
Oh, yeah, if you want to have my buddy Bob on, I'll give you his information. Yeah, he's
Okay, yeah, I've got
he's
Larry
great.
Charles. Larry Charles is coming on next
great,
week, I think. So
great,
we're going to
yeah,
talk about
Yeah,
Borat and Seinfeld and
right,
Sacha
yeah,
Baron Cohen, and we're going to get into it with Larry Charles.
yeah. Yeah,
I'd have Richard Lewis on, but apparently he's dead. So I
he was
didn't
a
know
sweet man. He was a lovely guy. I liked him a lot. Very kind.
Yeah.
A little neurotic, but super funny and kind.
I mean, dude. I mean, one of the great lines he's got a lot of great. I mean, I love Richard.
Tell me.
His parents get in the car in the station wagon to go on a vacation. He's in the back seat, his mother's in the front seat, and his father says, "What's that jingling noise?" They're in New Jersey, and she says, "I've got the coins ready for the toll for the Golden Gate Bridge." I mean, one of the great. I didn't tell it well, but I mean, Richard just the king of neurotic humor. I mean, holy crap! And he had. I mean, we would do a bit where I would just say "telephone for Hitler," and he would just crack up laughing, and I would go, "Hitler, Bungalow 12, telephone." Like he was in some Catskill Mountain bungalow colony.
Right? Yeah. No. And he had a good long career. I mean, I loved him in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk to Larry about that because Larry said that Richard would show up with secret hidden notes of jokes, and he was so nervous about free-forming it that he would get patted down by Larry Charles and have the jokes removed.
Right. He used to come on to Ferguson, and he was so kind of neurotic. It would be great. He'd be a great guest. And then he would be calling up after, was that okay? Was that okay? Did you think that was okay? Did you think this was okay? So he was just constantly needing reassurance,
Yeah.
I think it's that neurotic in us,
he was so fucking neurotic. I can't even, I'll tell you this. We used to go to the Dodger game together, and I'd go over to pick him up at his house. I'd be wearing my Dodger uniform, and he'd come to the steps, and he'd say, "I can't go with you. Well, look what you look like." And I go, "I'm wearing a Dodger uniform." And he'd be wearing a black cape with a black hat and black pants, like MC Hammer black balloon pants. And I'm going, "Richard, I'm going to a Dodger game. I don't know where you're going. Like, looks like you're going to a Zorro reunion party in Brazil." And then one time we were at the game with Joyce, his wife, and they put his face on Kiss Cam. Now, on Kiss Cam, you're supposed to kiss your wife's face.
Right.
You're supposed to take your wife and kiss her.
Like a Jumbotron,
and he starts mugging for the camera. And Joyce looks at me and she goes, "What is wrong with him, Mark?" And I said, "I have no idea." The entire crowd at Dodger Stadium starts booing him, Phil. And
That
he's
sounds like a perfect moment from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I know, no, but it was real. I mean,
Oh, that's
just
funny.
insane. I took him to a
Yeah.
game one time, and he says, "I'm going to go talk to Vince Scully in the booth." I said, Richard, he doesn't let anybody in. The game's going on.
Yeah,
He says
yeah.
he'll let me in. He'll let me in. He knows me, and he disappears for an inning, and he comes back and he mumbles, "What an anti-Semite!" Of course, he wouldn't let him in the booth. He's broadcasting the game, Phil.
Oh dear. Oh,
Yeah,
God,
I miss Richard. I mean, it was just a lot of fun, doing shit with him.
I know, yeah, I'm sure. And then was he a stand-up his whole life? Or did he?
His whole life. I mean, the beginning of his life, at the age of 3, he was doing stand-up in the Catskills. He worked Grossingers at 3 and 4, and then started writing his own material at the age of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, he would steal jokes. I mean, Larry Charles is talking about how he sold jokes out in front of the comic store and the Improv and everything. And a bunch of guys used to sell them for crack money and
Right.
$20, $5. Larry Charles said that they would pay him if the jokes worked.
Oh, they would only pay. So they would take the joke
On consignment, Phil. On consignment.
Yeah, that's messed up. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
and it was
crazy.
everybody. It was Jay Leno.
So why didn't Larry Charles just do his own stand-up on
He couldn't
stage?
take it. He said he couldn't take it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he also didn't like repeating himself, like
Russell. Yeah,
like Russell, the same thing. And same with Larry David. We were in a writers' meeting at Lampoon. We were doing another Lampoon show, a theatrical show. Larry David was there. He didn't work there. I worked there, but they brought in outside writers sometimes.
Yeah.
And a guy showed up, Sid Bartholomew, who later became the art director for the Farrelly brothers, I believe.
Right.
And he brought in 2 chimpanzees for no reason. And they jumped on Larry David, who fled the room saying, "I don't have to put up with this."
Yeah, I saw something online about. I think it was Larry David, and they were going to make a documentary about Larry himself, about his own life. But Larry didn't like how he looked on camera or something, and decided to pull the plug on it.
Documentary. We're going to get into that. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
He shot this thing, and then Larry David undermined it behind the scenes and didn't want it to come out. Instead of just telling him, he did things behind the scenes, which I'm going to get into with Larry Charles.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway, so this has been the show, Phil. This is what we do.
It's been lovely reconnecting.
I mean, we're just having a conversation. It's no big deal. But if you could think of anybody else who grew up in the Gorbals.
Of course. Yeah. I'll give it some.
And I want to know what a sporran is, that thing that goes on the front of the kilt.
So it's like a wallet. It's a wallet.
Like what goes in there? Your money?
Yeah, your money, your credit card, your keys, your car keys. So you don't have a pocket in the kilt because it's one wraparound piece of material,
There's a photo I found of one. I think it's your family reunion. I don't know if you've seen this photo before. Yeah, it's the entire McGrade family in a reunion, and they seem to have the proper attire. I don't know if you've seen this thing, but the sporran you're saying. Is this your family reunion from '96?
Yeah, that's it. Sure.
And that's you there, and the little kid, from what I gather.
I don't think they're supposed to be wearing anything underneath it, to be honest.
Like, okay, so that thing on the left, the first guy, that pocketbook there,
that's a sporran. That's a sporran. Yeah. And there's also a little knife. There's a knife called a ski and do. It's a ceremonial dagger that you would sometimes put in your sock.
Yeah. In case somebody has a bad thing to say about your kilt?
Yeah, in case somebody goes after your sporran. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is there sporran robberies? Like people who just are sporran burglars or sporran snatchers? A purse snatcher?
I'm sure that's possible, yeah. I mean, it kind of hangs on like a little chain that's partly chain, partly belt, and it just dangles there over your tackle,
Over your fishing tackle?
Yeah, tackle. Yeah. And are you still doing your show on YouTube as well?
That's the other show. Yeah, this one's relatively new. This is only episode 7 or 6.
Wow.
You're going to be in the first 6 episodes. It seems to be.
Nice.
People seem to like it because it's kind of like a conversation. It's apolitical, and it's just about I'm trying to just do artists and writers and keep it about
Like,
pop culture and show business and shit, musicians,
yeah,
and the world that you and I live in.
sure, yeah. What's your feeling about all this AI stuff? Do you think it's going to kill storytelling and kill Hollywood? And
Oh, I don't think Hollywood exists. So to me, it's, you know, I mean, it's 5 people left in a building. It's kind of like the record business at the end. You know, remember, I don't know if you were here when the record business ended.
No, I wasn't. So you
right, but this is very similar. This is very similar. I mean, mass layoffs every day. You know, they're shooting in Ireland now to get the pension and health from Ireland, and I don't think it's sustainable, Phil.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't put more money into, you know, paying people to shoot here, like give them tax breaks. You know, if
the tax breaks is not enough. The tax break is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough because you could get the tax break in Ireland and also get the health benefits of a socialist medicine country.
Right. Yeah.
So in other words, they're going to run out of places to go.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, they're done with the states. I mean, they don't go to Georgia. Now they go overseas.
Yeah.
You know, they're done with Canada. Canada doesn't cut it anymore.
Yeah.
It's a finite thing. They're just leapfrogging. It's kind of like looking for cheap labor around the world.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I know How to Train Your Dragon, the live version, that was shot in Ireland on the Game of Thrones stage.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to Burbank, everybody's out of work.
Yeah. It's concerning, isn't it? But maybe they'll find a way to kind of bring some of that back again, you know?
Well, all right. So this is, we're about 2 hours in. So I'm going to, I got to go camping now. So I'm going to call this.
Good to you. Well, it's great to see you.
We're going to bring you back again for a redo and,
great.
and try to get an update on your career with the Civil War movie. So that and Haggis 2, The Reckoning, which is my new film. Where the haggis comes alive and begins attacking. It's like The Street Charm of the Bourgeoisie by Louis Buñuel, but it's the haggis itself that begins to kill the dinner guests. And it's kind of like an Agatha Christie mystery because nobody knows who's killing the great chefs of Europe. And it's really the haggis that's doing it privately.
Right. Nice.
And we're going to need a punch up from you at some point.
Oh, good. Well, it's great to see you. Do you ever get over to that to see our friends at that Monday night club?
It's just too far west, bro. I got my own thing in the east. I don't have time. Sure. It's just a matter of time. I really it got to the point where it's just too burdensome. You know, I got my own scene over here because I look at it like brushing my teeth. You know, I don't have time to go to Malibu to brush my fucking teeth.
I know.
You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a grooming thing, and I try to get it over with so I could get back to work.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that thing was like a 5-hour commitment, Phil.
Oh, I know you had to get there 2 hours early to get
I'm
sorry. And come back.
I'm sorry. I can't.
I know. Yeah.
All right, Bubby. Well, this was fun, right?
That was great. I loved it.
Okay, it's kind of painless. It's, you know, we covered a lot of turf.
That was great. Yeah.
I'm going to do a little business here, but I just wanted to say goodbye and say hello to your wife for me. And we're gonna definitely catch up again, Phil, in person.
All right.
I think the last time I saw you was at Barnes and Noble or something.
The Apple store. We bumped to the Apple store.
We're to the Apple store, right? Well, we'll meet in person separately.
All right. Take care, Mark.
All right, Bubby.
Great to see you.
Well, that was interesting. Okay, I don't know what's going on. There's a little bit of echo on my mic, but now it's gone. I don't know what the mystery here was. But happy Wednesday to everybody. Just another shout out for Phil McGrade, and I really recommend watching I'll Be There. And if you can find Brand X with Russel Brand, I don't know if that's anywhere in the streaming thing, but that and any of the Craig Ferguson, the old shows that he worked on, very weird time loop in the early 2000s. A lot of this stuff has disappeared, but I highly recommend I'll Be There. And the dragon one, not so sure. He plays a character named Starkard. Not that matters as it's animated, but if you like and subscribe, we could really use the subscribers at this point. I think we're up to 6,000 in like 4 weeks or something. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I looked at it the other day. It seems like we got 6,000 subscribers now on this channel, What's Up with Lordbuckly. So if you want to like, hit that bell, do the notification thing. Like I said, next week, for people who are interested, I have Dr. Drew coming on. We're going to talk about Dr. Drew's life, not how he became Dr. Drew, which is what we're doing with the show. So his wife, Susan, is digging up all these rare photos of Dr. Drew growing up and his family. We're going to get into how Dr. Drew became Dr. Drew next week on the 23rd, on next Wednesday. And after that, like I said, we've got some other people coming up. This writer from Bill Maher Show, and Larry Charles is coming up, and a bunch of other exciting people. I think Thomas Jane at one point. So if you like this, subscribe. Try to look at the biltong, because I think you will be pleasantly surprised if you can go to Biltong USA and hit that code. Just try it. If you don't like it, forget about it. But I would try it once. I think you'll get hooked on it. A lot of people told me about it. I never did anything, but now I'm totally into it. It's just my number one snack, because it stops me from eating freaking bagels and chips and carbohydrates. So, I mean, put in the code Mark G, 10% off Biltong USA, and it will reduce the amount of fat that you're getting from carbs, because this will fulfill your appetite as pure protein, and it's very low calorie, and it's a great snack. You put it in the refrigerator, and I recommend heating it up and trying it that way too. So either way, and I'm taking it to go camping with me in the woods, which is another great thing you could do with it. biltongusa.com. What else can we say before we end it here? We'll see you next Wednesday on What's Up with Lordbuckly. It's been about 2 hours, so I think that's about the extent of this particular show. I'll see you next week. Thanks.